morning, everyone. My name's Kelly Kingston, and I am your host of the International Inspired Women Summit. Our Inspired Women Summit is going to be rolling out over the next 8 weeks of beautiful, inspired women that are empowering, inspiring, and really encouraging and supporting women to be the best versions of themselves in their industry. I would like to introduce the beautiful Kristina Savka. She has been in the fashion industry for over 35 years. Kristina has been involved in various roles as a fashion designer, stylist, an RTO fashion trainer, a TV host, MC, speaker, model, and camera confident coach. Thank you so much for being here and accepting my invitation to be one of our first speakers for International Inspired Women. Hashtag unmute.
Absolutely. Oh, it feels so good to unmute, doesn't it?
Oh, I tell you what, I think I unmuted around about 12 years ago,
Oh,
nearly 50 now. And so it's been, that scream out of, oh my gosh, I feel so much better now. I can actually speak my truth and be in my authenticity to be able to transform me from where I was to where I am now. Would you agree?
absolutely. I actually find it quite interesting how out there in the big wide world, we tend to talk about censorship. But in actual fact, we can censor ourselves. And that is the biggest tragedy. So, this is a really incredible platform that you've created here where women are getting permission to actually unmute, own their voice, and say, you know what? I'm worthy to speak. I have a story and I'm going to share it. And perhaps, if not one or many, actually influence and inspire others. And that is incredible. So that's why I'm excited to be here today to support your cause.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much. And you know what? We have speakers from all over the world for the next 8 weeks going to be, fully stepping up and stepping out to be able to share their story about how they inspire, how they empower. And you know what? Some of the women can also step back into a place where, what pushed them to be the woman that they are today. And, uh, just so other women can go, oh my gosh, that's me now. That's where I want. That's where I am now. And that's where I want to be. I want to be that beautiful, empowered, inspired woman that rocks it and other women look up to. And sometimes maybe, men, they might kind of get the drift a little bit as well. So it's really cool.
It's really interesting the many years that I've been working with women in the creative industry. One of the key things that I have found is that women are somehow secretly looking for and asking for permission. And when they see somebody going forward and actually doing it, it's kind of like indirectly giving them permission to follow suit and to do it their way. And that is incredible. So permission granted, ladies, it is time to unmute and speak up, speak your truth.
Absolutely. Well said, Kristina. That is so cool. So I want to quickly just tap in before I start asking you a whole heap of questions. Before we actually started our recording for our summit, you were talking about some beautiful women that you've been mentoring and what they've achieved to date. Could you please tap in and just share a bit about your wins and what you've been doing recently, please?
Oh, look, I do have a very inspiring story. I have a little, what do you call it? Kind of like a small job description on an app called Airtasker. And it's just put out there in case somebody needs my services in a smaller capacity. And in this particular instance, it was to help somebody draft a pattern for a fashion event or for their label. Anyway, this lady finds me from another state, and I was very curious. Why would you want somebody from a different state when you could find somebody in your own hometown? And interestingly enough, she said, intuitively, I chose you. So I asked her, why do you need this? The power of the question. Had I not asked her, my goodness, we wouldn't be where we are today. And she said, I really want to launch my label. And I said, well, I've got just the place for you. And it's called Rise to the Runway. And I kid you not, 2 weeks ago at Rise to the Runway, which is an annual emerging designer event, she wins 3 trophies, not one, but 3. And I'm blown away as the MC on stage, wasn't judging any of the categories. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But it wasn't only that. It was that when I heard this woman's story, and I gave her this opportunity to be able to showcase her art. She said to me, if you only knew where I've been in the last 4 years, hiding, being quiet, not knowing what I was going to do with my life, dodging bullets, emotional bullets. And she said, all I can say to you is that your program, it's given me a voice. I feel like I've been let out of a cage and I can own the world. And this is before she actually won the event. And I said to myself, wow, if that is what helping someone go for their dreams can do, I was just blown away. And I thought, I have to do more of this. I have to be an instrument for change for others. I had no idea to what extent, because they know where they're at. I don't, but I just became that vehicle for change, asking that question, that random question, what do you need this for? And then off we went on this incredible journey together. And I am so excited. It's like another woman unmuted, ready to amplify her existence and show the world her creative art. So how cool is that?
Oh, that is amazing. Oh, congratulations to you. That is, to be able to step up and speak your truth and fully step into what you're currently doing as a fashion designer and so much more in the industry, but to mentor somebody, then to have them win awards is off the chart, love, off the chart. So you're taking this to a whole new level.
Oh, I can tell you, after many, many years, playing in this industry, it is a real honor to be able to impart all my knowledge and my skills to another person so that they can benefit. And honestly, servitude and leadership, they go hand in hand. And that's really where it's at, especially for me, a woman over 50. I always said to myself, when I get to the big 50, I'm going to give back. And I'm just about on the eve of my 54th birthday. So it's been like almost 4 years of giving back big time, supporting, giving women permission to own their worth and to really show up and shine.
Well, you are doing just that, my dear. Absolutely. It's so cool. So, thank you so much for sharing that. Now I have some beautiful questions for you. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my first question to you is, when was the first time you stuck up for yourself, in whether it was a relationship with someone that was around you, or in the workplace? Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, the first story that comes to mind, and I like to just go intuitively, whatever works, take what you need out of these stories, because in themselves, you could find yourself in one of these stories or aspects of this story. So I found myself somewhere in my mid-20s, and I was in a fashion company. And they were really extorting my skill, and they didn't want to pay me my full worth. And I look back and I'm thinking, how did I have enough gumption to stand up for myself? And I kid you not, I spoke to a lawyer, because it was a lot of money back then. And they were kind of doing it week after week and promising to pay, and they didn't. So, that's stealing, really, if you think about it. So I take them to court. And as a young girl, I was quite scared. These lawyers, they look, so looming and overwhelming. But I won. And I got a taste of justice, and I got a taste of standing up for myself and what it was worth to me, and how it repositioned who I am and what I was capable of and the value of my skill. And then I placed myself into a better company and I interviewed them rather than them just interviewing me, so that I could see, is this going to be a great fit? So I learned a very valuable lesson that rather than coming from a place of need and less than and this whole scarcity mentality, I didn't really understand those terms back then, like the energetics of all of this. But now looking back, I understand the terminology now, that it really was me stepping out of my comfort zone to try on what would it feel like to actually own my worth and to go into a place where I am going to be valued. And that is what I learned in my 20s. So it's been an incredible journey.
Wow. So then you were able to really step in and, step through that shakiness that we find in, and that tightness we find in our chest when we go, we can't find our voice, and we are quivering and sometimes, sweating a little bit because it places us into an uncomfortable situation that we're really not familiar with. So that is so exciting. So you've been an empowered woman for such a long time.
I didn't realize actually that I didn't actually realize that I have been actually practicing this empowerment. And it's really what set me up for, where I am today. And you don't realize this until you look back in hindsight and you see that all of these things, these little milestones along the way, have set me up for who I am today.
Oh,
And so had I not trusted, when we're talking, the lawyer was like 45, so, almost, more than twice my age at the time. And it can seem really scary, but somehow inside of me, he let me know that I was worthy of the compensation and that my work was valuable and that it isn't right to be extorted, and that I should own my voice and stand up for myself, and that many others would have walked away. And just having that support, see, support is everything. Having that support to go for it, to prove something right, to be compensated was everything. And this is why I love supporting others, because of the support that I have received.
yay. Yay. Okay, so question number 2. Can you remember the day you took full responsibility of your life?
Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward into my 40s, because by this stage I had 3 kids under 3. I had a toddler and twins. And because I had devoted my life to the fashion industry for a long time and I was a more of a mature age mother, I didn't know what hit me when it came time to raising 3 children, like one, let alone 3. And so I realized for the first time, no one is coming to save me. Figure it out, and you can do this. And I tell you, it's all of the childhood trauma that I experienced way back, even as young as 3. And I have a backstory there. And a lot of those aspects have been revealed in the Inspiring Women Today chapter. And that's the book that was produced back in 2020. And I can see now that they have set me up for these massive, and I'm saying massive, changes, because until you become a parent, you really don't know what you're up for, and it's such a huge challenge. And on top of that, it's 3 boys, not even a girl. And I'm thinking, oh my. So I realized, like, it's time to put those big girl panties on, to really step up into leadership, and to figure out that you're not really raising children, you're actually raising adults.
Yeah.
But they look so small, and you really have to have this mindset shift that, what will I instill? What are the values, the core values, the principles? What are those things that I wish to pass on to this creation of adults? And so that's when I said to myself, I really have to take full responsibility for my life and for the 3 additional lives that I was now responsible for. And that really catapulted me to a whole new level, which I found out later had set me up for leadership when it came into my work and business. And parenthood is such a great stepping stone, because you literally transfer those loving, nurturing skills for your children and you apply them into your business. And before you're knowing it, you're nurturing your clients just the same way as if they are your children. That's the sign of good leadership, when you really, really can, include your clients into that love bubble in your heart and give everything.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's amazing. We were talking about children, 3 under 3. Oh my gosh. And I know you've got twins. That is like hats off. But you have to pull your big girl panties up, don't you? Really, to be able to go, okay, no one's going to do this for me. I'm here. I'm doing it. I've got these little munchkins, and yeah, it's amazing. And it does set you up for success in business. I
Oh,
agree
yes.
100%.
Oh, raising children is not for the faint-hearted, and especially if you want to do a really good job.
Mm.
And I take my work very seriously, whether it's my personal journey, whether it's raising my children, or whether it's investing all of my attention and energy into clients. I give it all, because just like I want to see incredible growth and change in my children throughout their milestones, I want to see the same thing for my clients. And so it's all the same to me. I just love them just the same.
That's great. Okay. Question number 3. What was your biggest struggle coming back to yourself?
Oh, gosh, that is such a good question, actually. Ah, biggest struggle. I think it would have to be as a child of intense childhood trauma. One of the things that we really struggle with is trust, because there's a lot of fear when you have been abused in many different ways. And that's my story. And I think trusting the process of change and growth and allowing time to mature, to be able to gain a greater acceptance of who I am. So I've had to really, really invest a lot into my self journey to be able to learn to trust. Now, it isn't just about trusting myself, it's also trusting my higher power. Because I can tell you, people that have gone through tremendous amount of struggle, they usually, succumb to addictions and all sorts of things. I fought very hard not to succumb to any of those things. And one of the key ways that I was able to achieve this is to rely on my divine source of power, my higher power, which I call God, and to be able to connect to that source to set me on a better path. Now, as I said, it's been such a lifelong journey, because the greatest thing for a child that has witnessed and endured trauma is trust. And so I'm very fortunate that over the years, I have been honing this skill and allowing myself, being kind to myself, to be able to, in every situation, find ways to trust that all things will work together for my good. And so that's been a struggle as well as a gain. And it's a daily juggle to trust, because it's so easy to crawl back into that, where I'm safe, and I let fear, guide me or shut things down. And that's how we can also shut down our voices and mute ourselves. But it's learning to be okay with the past, know that it doesn't define my present, and it certainly won't control my future.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Nicely said. That is really, really, sometimes it's hard to articulate where we came from, how we actually did get there, and how we pushed through all those hard times, that self-talk, the external situations we find ourselves in that have repeated different patterns from our past, that we just go, knock, knock, knock. Hello, I'm here again. You haven't dealt with me. Hello, I'm still here. Can you please deal with it? Or otherwise I'm going to come back. But yeah, thank you. That's really, for people that are watching this, it's really easy to sit in a situation that you don't want to be in, but it's really rewarding and challenging to really step in and inspire yourself and empower yourself to know that there's something better on the other side. And this beautiful woman, Kristina, is a shining star in this space. So if you need to be supported in any way, where Kristina is in the designing and fashion industry, and really would love to be able to lean in a little bit more, I'm going to be putting Kristina's contact details and all her business pages and social medias at the bottom of our video. Okay, question number 4. Do you have a favorite saying that got your thoughts through your toughest days?
Oh, that is actually great, because it's such a good segue to what I've just said about the divine and the high power. I am, a student of the divine inspired word of God, which we call the Holy Bible. I love being inspired by ancient wisdom, and it's ancient wisdom for a reason. It's been around for a long time. And one of the sayings that I absolutely love is trust in the divine with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge the divine creator God, and he will make your path straight. And what that means to me is that I can lean back and know that I will be taken care of, that I can just let it go and put that fear and that distrust down and know that I can just go for my dreams and everything else that I need to achieve, because God's got this. I'm not alone. I am never alone.
Yeah.
And all I need to do is just trust. I mean, it sounds so simple, but
Mm.
it's like you do it in small things. I remember when I first started to learn how to trust. And this is what I often say to my children or to my clients. Faith is built on evidence. Sometimes when we don't have a lot of faith, we just give it a little shot. And when we see what's created, then we see the evidence and we get a little bit more faith. And then we give a little bit more, and then more evidence and more faith. And our faith just keeps growing until we eventually reach this place of total surrender and fully trusting that God's got our back. And that is the most powerful place to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is so cool. Okay, our 5th question is, did you have external support from family members or close friends transitioning through your childhood trauma, taking full responsibility of yourself, and standing up for yourself?
Oh gosh, I have a very interesting story, and something I kind of just touched upon at the event on Sunday for Mind Your Fashion, which is a non-profit organization to raise awareness for mental health and the mental illness that goes on in the creative industries. And I was just saying that back in the 1970s, when I was a small child, I watched my mother become misdiagnosed, overdrugged, and then that created clinical depression. Should have been situational, became clinical. We've come a long way since the 70s, but we still have a long way to go. But, I lost a mother in that process. She was only 27 or 28 years old, where she literally became bombed on these pharmaceuticals. So I was left to raise myself. My dad had disappeared from my life and still is not present. And so I was very fortunate that about 21 years ago, I met a gentleman who became the father of my children. And his mother and her husband became my surrogate parents. And for the first time, I could feel, as a woman in her 30s, what it would have felt like to have a normal mum and a dad who loved and nurtured me. And they healed so many wounds. And it's been the most healing journey. They've both now passed. I think Grandpa went in March of this year. and sorely missed, but he's also the catalyst for the writing skills that I have today, which so many seem to get a lot out of the way that I express myself through my posts. And, it's a big testimony that when somebody nurtures and loves you and supports you on your journey, and once again, it's like a divine thing that just came into my life at the right time when I needed it, when I needed support with these three children. They were there to see me and also to be a catalyst for my growth and incredible change, and also my to heal those wounds that were created that we have no control over when we are children. And these two beautiful people came in and showed me what it's like to feel and be loved. So
Mm,
I'm so
oh,
grateful.
that is amazing. What a beautiful story. And to have that come into your life when you had your husband um, there to support you and back you in that space, but to have his parents really come in and fully step into that space, that's incredible. Sometimes you don't normally get on well with both, but to one
Oh,
or the other. But yeah, that's a beautiful story.
yes, yes. It makes me so emotional because I miss them terribly. But for those 20 years that I had them, they gave me so much joy and living and life, and I learnt so much. They've left an incredible legacy that I will continue to, pay it forward wherever I go. When we're given much, we want to give more.
Yeah.
And so the blessings that we receive, we bless others with those. So be a blessing, because the more blessings that you can give, the more come back. And it just works. It
Yeah.
just works.
I can definitely say that it definitely does. I use that practice as well. And, the more you give, the more you get. And the manifestation from that is heart-based. So it's a heart-based frequency. So if it's coming from a place of lack or greed or something, then you're not in alignment with where you're currently at. So
Mm.
um yeah, I really love that. Okay, and so we have our last question for our session today, Kristina. And the last question is, if you could change one thing in your life today, what would that be?
Well, that is another great question. Because you never arrive at perfection. We're always a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I'm working on changing every single day is overcoming procrastination. You see, when you experience so much trauma, there is fear, there is distrust. And from that, you get procrastination. We're too afraid to move forward. We've been burnt. We've been, things have happened to us. And so we become immobilized. And then when we become immobilized, more fear is created. So if there's one thing that I am constantly in the process of changing, is getting out of procrastination and forging forward and continuing to improve on this journey of self-discovery, because you never arrive, you just keep going. And I love to be able to surprise myself. So my mission every day is surprise myself. So do something outside of my comfort zone and never look back. Just keep moving forward. And so whatever choices that I've made in the past, my change is to, the change that I want to create is that I want to be better than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I'll be better than I was today. And so I'm always moving forward, never looking left or right, never seeing what my competition is doing, but being the best version of myself. And that's my life goal and mission. That's what I live for every day.
That is amazing.
Um,
And remember, we've got a new word about competition. It's collaboration.
I love that. Collaboration. Who would have thought that you could merge two words together and make them work?
I know, right? And there's a few, but a few others in my library that I might share with you a little bit later. But that's very cool.
Ah, It feels so good to speak up and unmute. I've got to say that, look, I'm looking forward to hearing the other speakers because we all have such potent stories. And I'm sure the collection of women that will be showcasing here over the next 8 weeks, it's going to be prolific. It will change people's lives. Just hearing someone's story spoken from the heart, there will be aha moments and pops of like, oh, that's me. I can do this. And
Yeah.
the tips and the little things that we've used along the way, whether you're young, on just behind me on the journey or at the same pace, wherever you're at.
Mhm.
These tactics, these things that have helped me can actually be someone's fast track. And
Yep.
that is exciting because why should someone else go through all of what I've been through? If I've lived long enough to be able to give someone a fast track, then whatever I've been through has been worth it.
Yep.
That's the value of true leadership and servitude. And so
And
that's what I live for.
yeah, and then that comes back to a saying that I love to say, and that is things happen for us, not to us.
Yes.
When we can identify that the situation we placed ourselves in by making the choice to be there is happening for us, and whether it's a good thing or not so good thing or whatever, you just go, oh, okay, I don't think I want to go there again. So it's a reminder for us that we don't want to step back into that space, so we just make different decisions in the future.
I've got a great analogy that I love sharing. And it's like when you think of the word victim, it's
Mm.
like you have a key and you walk over there and you put yourself in the cage, right? So you choose to be a victim, but you also have the key inside the cage to unlock it and let yourself out. So therefore, no one is putting me in that position. I do it to myself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because whatever has happened is not happening right now.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about past instances, so the only one that's going to put me into that cage of victimhood is myself. So it's about taking the key, putting it in that lock, opening it up and saying, I am now free. I'm now free. I can step out into the sunshine, own my voice and say, hey, I am no longer a victim. I am victorious. And that is our
Yay!
greatest mission.
Woo! That is so cool. I've never heard that analogy before. I think I like that. I think if you give me permission, I might use that one time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like share and share alike. Everyone help each other out, scratch each other's back, and let's get this, journey of humanity working for all of us.
Yeah.
When I see people that are ruthless and stepping on others to get to the top, I always go, must be lonely up there because by the time you've stepped on everyone, you'll just be on your own. I'd rather have a party and take us all up to the top, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there beside you, Christina. I'm not I'm not journeying on that journey on my own.
It's too boring and it's too sad and lonely. It's like, let's take everyone with us because, if I expired tomorrow, I would like to know that I've touched someone's life and that I wasn't one of those that was stepping on someone else to get to the top. I don't need it.
Yeah.
My reward is a divine reward. I don't need an earthly reward here. I don't need those accolades because I really believe that I've been given this life for a purpose. I've been allowed to experience all of the things that I've been allowed to experience. And now I just use it to pay it forward with helping others fast track so that they can have hopefully a better life wherever they are on their journey. And that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I just want to quickly finish on this note because I was volunteering my services at Safe Haven Community that Janine Cunningham has founded. And you came in one day when I was there, and Janine's talking away to you and everything. And I tell you what, you didn't look like you then. And you told me why. And I want to just compliment you so greatly for being able to step in and out of the different worlds and honor yourself and your family to be able to support them and not take them with you on that other high-wrenching journey if they're not ready for it.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, the fashion industry can be such an interesting playground because you can look almost untouchable. And one of the saddest things would be if my children can't gather toward me because I'm, you know, not reachable. And so I tend to definitely, play it very low key and just be mum. I want them to be able to come to me, to be able to kiss me, or me to kiss their cheeks, no makeup, don't worry about their hair, and just be mum, because they don't care.
Yeah.
All they need is to be nurtured and to be loved and to know that they matter. They need that. So yes, I do come in and out of those roles. And I think, it is a skill. And it's something, I guess, that I learned when I became a mother, because I realized, I can't do this hair and makeup thing and dressing fancy every day. My kids need me. And I actually talk about this in that chapter in the book. And it was about the moment of truth to how to be real, because kids see it all. They get it. They see when you're hiding. They see when you're putting it on. They see it all. So I thought, well, if they see it all, just be raw and real with them, because that's all they want and need. And the rest, well, this is, I show up in the clothing that I do, and I do my hair and my makeup, because I believe in my world, this is a sign of respect to you, the viewer. It lets you know that I respect you, so I show up for you, right? But I don't need to do that same thing for my children. I am so down to earth. I play with them. I muck around with them. It's a different realm for in my professional world. I show up. So being able to come in and out of those two, it's about being authentic and being able to do my job well. So I do those two. And it's just something that I've learned over time.
Yeah. Authentic transformation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just remember, when we do get dressed up, it is a sign of respect to the viewer. It says that I respect you enough to show up for you. It isn't a ego thing for myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I never, yeah. You're like teaching me a lot today. Oh my gosh. So where can people find you? Like if somebody wants to get in contact with you, I know I'm going to have the links down below, but I feel like verbalizing it.
Oh, okay. So I'm very active on Facebook. I'm just starting to kind of get a little bit familiar with Instagram. I think my children have probably hooked me up with YouTube. No, not YouTube. TikTok, I think it is. All these new platforms, but Facebook is a great way. I love to get nice and personal through Messenger. I treat everyone the same. Everyone is worthy of a response, a connection. I don't like the numbers game. If you're in my world, you're it. You and me, we connect. And my website is getting a major overhaul. But it is still there for anyone that wants to see previous work that I've been doing, kristinasavka.com.au. But yes, if you want to get nice, close and personal, Facebook is the way, my personal page.
Nice work. And do you have any offerings that you would like to offer anybody that wants to connect with you, or, just wants to suss you out?
Okay.
Anything like that?
Yes, I am willing to offer the viewers that are seeing this today. There is a 30-minute call that you can have one-on-one time with me if you are an entrepreneur who needs to be visible, own their voice, and you need to show up in a particular way that lets the world know this is my signature style brand. A lot of people get confused and lost. What is my brand? Who am I? How do I show up? What should I be wearing? What are my colors? All of these things is what I work through in my program. But to be able to see if we fit together and, so that I can see where you're at on your journey, we're all in different places. I'm welcoming everyone to have a strategy call. So all you need to do is send me a message through Facebook, and let's get personal about this, because it's a personal brand. And let's see what I can do for you with my very extensive, long time in the industry. There's not much I can't do for a woman so that she can show up to look amazing.
Awesome.
Presence and amplification are the key words in my world. So if you want presence and amplification, and of course, exceptional style, you've come to the right place.
That's amazing. And so do you have any workshops, speaking gigs coming up, anywhere where you're seen in the public, so that if somebody still wants to touch base with you and they want to, come to an event or a luncheon, have you got anything coming up anytime soon?
Well, I am working with a group of incredible ladies called Fashion Pathways, which, if you are an emerging designer and you would like a platform to showcase your incredible designs and you haven't done anything like this before, Rise to the Runway is the place for you. It's also a place where you can get great mentorship before the event. So it's the stepping stone before you go, say, to showcase in New York or Paris. It's something that was built for the emerging designer that would be that world-class platform to be able to be seen. So that's one way I could help an emerging designer. Another way is if you're an entrepreneur and you would like to create a signature style brand and presence online, then we can connect one-to-one and go through the actual program. It's a 7-week program so that you can really understand who you are and how that looks visually. And I use psychology and DNA mapping and all sorts of stuff. So, it creates an incredible sustainable wardrobe where you're not just throwing out fashion and changing all the time. You become this solid brand and your wardrobe works for you. And that is incredible. So clients love it because they're not spending thousands of dollars keeping up with trends. It's not about trends. It's about your unique style.
Yeah, that's cool. So if you're doing any of what Kristina just said, you need to get in contact with her straight away. And we've given you all the details. And again, all Kristina's links are on this video. Kristina, thank you so much for being here, sharing your story, and being on It's Time to Unmute, so that we can then inspire, empower, and support other women that are emerging and coming through, so that they can then be transparent, authentic, and transform their life from where they were to where they want to be. I honor you for being here, and love everything that you aspire to be in our world. And even at events, you have this presence where you just want to. People just want to be around you and talk to you. They mightn't be in the fashion industry, but they just still want to just be around you. So we don't know the whole story, but what you're doing is really, really working. So congratulations.
Well, thank you for having me. My biggest mission is to be a woman's cheerleader. So everybody needs a hero and a cheerleader. So if you need to feel like you need some support in those areas of your life, especially showing up and owning your voice, they are big things that a lot of people, are waiting for when they lose the weight or when they do this. And what I say to my clients is, don't wait, because change creates that weightless feeling. Like all of a sudden you put things into motion and things start happening. You're feeling better, so you're making better choices. Before you know it, you're losing a bit of weight. So it's one step in front of the other. That positive change changes everything in your world. So, and you are the sum of those 5 people that you hang around with. So check who's in your world. If you've got people bringing you down, shift over there and be lifted up. So, pick your battles, pick your environments. You've got to do this for you. It's so, so, so important that you put yourself in the best position for success. That's the most encouraging thing I can say to you, is position yourself for success by placing yourself in the right environment and find people to support you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So you have just heard it from the beautiful Kristina Savka. Choosing to be a victim is a choice. Okay. You can unlock that key and open it up and then step out and choose a different place. Procrastination is also a choice. You can choose. Okay. Sitting still and procrastinating on something that you want so badly is not a way to be able to move forward. So Kristina has given some beautiful tips and tricks and tools to be able to support you in taking your next step into the world that you choose to want to be in. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of It's Time to Unmute. Let's inspire, empower, and support women to be able to rise to their purpose, and so that they can do the same for generations to come. Thanks for being here and watching. Bye for now.
Bye for now.